Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live show. New signing in Indiana Fever. Fans are in an uproar, and we'll cover that. All right, I'll put the someone wants to call in today. Comments. I get a sip of water here. Does UConn win put Paige over Caitlin now? Of course. Of course. Anyone but Paige. Anyone but Caitlin. I thought Paige played well. I don't think she played great. She didn't shoot that well, but she was more assertive, and she passed well. Not Caitlin Clark level well, but she passed well. Well, we'll see what happens. Caitlin approved this woman. Everybody's in an uproar about this woman because of her tweets, and yeah, some of them are bad, but they wouldn't have signed her if Caitlin didn't say, it's okay. I can overlook that. I just want to win a championship. As long as she's not a cancer in the locker room when we're playing or on the court, I'm good. They needed someone like that, believe it or not. I think that Dantas can't play defense as a center. If they got some center who's off, like scoring a lot of points, like let's say Asia Wilson, and Boston gets in foul trouble, right? They can't stick Dantas on Asia Wilson or Boston gets hurt or whatever. So I guess they could stick, what's her name? Duana Bonner on her. But this woman, you can go in there. If she gets in foul trouble, who cares? She's a defensive specialist. My concern is they have 11 players, and what if they get a bunch of injuries? 11 players is fine if you don't have any injuries. It's not so fine if you get like 2 major injuries. Could have bad luck. We'll see. If they can trade Christy Wallace, they're fine. They're going to have 12 players. They could either Jaylen Brown can make the team, or one of the 2 second-round draft picks will make the team. Well, plenty of depth, and I think they're going to win the championship. Call me crazy. It's just me. I don't know. Other people, Vegas has them 4th. Is that right? Let me see. They still have her. Oh, I didn't look at the college rankings today. Let's look at those. We can talk about those. So Notre Dame is number 1. UCLA loses 1 game, and they're to number 3. Wow. 1 game, and they dropped to number 3. Texas is number 2. USC's number 4. UConn's number 5. South Carolina's 6. That's about where people said they would be, and LSU's number 7. I don't know if UCLA should really not be number 1 anymore. But they lost an away game against the number 4 team in the country, and that's the only game they've lost. Okay, we'll see. I don't know if I agree with that. We'll see what happens. What's up, Top Gun? What's going on? I was just talking about the college. UCLA dropped to number 3. Even though they have the best record, and they lost to the number 4 team in the country in an away game. We'll see. Doesn't matter what you're ranked. It's really all that matters is what the tournament is. So, what do you do in the tournament? When the tournament starts, do you win your game or you not win the game? Because those power rankings are always silly. So these rankings are just as silly. But I'm willing to argue them over a little bit. So, like or not like the signing of the Fever. What is? Let's see. Let me get the roster here. Let me get this. Pull this roster up on the screen now. So let's see what happens. Here's the Fever, but for some reason, so let me just see. Let's see what they have at the Fever. I got the Fever. Let's see. All I know is, these fans are pretty fanatical. You have to admit. They're losing their sleep over all this. Here's the roster. Why they still have Erica Wheeler on the roster in India on ESPN? That's bizarre. She signed a camp contract with someone else. Supposedly Brianna Turner's was a camp contract too. She hasn't even officially made the team, which means there's probably going to be 4 people fighting for 2 spots, including 2 draft picks, maybe even 3 draft picks because they get a 3rd-round draft pick. Well, we'll see. I'm looking at it this way with Sydney Colson and Brianna Turner. If Caitlin Clark approved it, I think that minimizes the risk. But I think Sydney Colson and her are both at risk. But that doesn't mean the advantages of signing them don't outweigh the risk. So you can call it a terrible signing if you want. I'm saying I can understand the risk, but I'm not convinced it's a terrible signing. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if she causes problems, yeah. And it turns out to be. But we don't know for sure she's going to cause a problem. It's a good fit for a good price. They still only have 11 players on their team, really, with $32,000 to play with, which doesn't get them anything but 40% of the season on a minimum. Had Turner been on the contract with Sky? Well, she wasn't on the contract with Sky, so I'm not sure what significance that is, but okay. They gained what they gained 100, 106, 180. They gained around 75 from Katie Lou. Oh, Basil, you do that all the time. Seriously. It's so funny for you to say that. Oh. The difference is I'm not a contrarian. That's the difference. I think Brianna will fit really well with CC. Not sure how many minutes she will get, but I think it's better than a better fit from AP. What? I'm not sure what you're saying here. I think Brianna will fit well with CC. Not sure how many minutes she will get, but I think it's a better fit than AB is, to be honest. Wow, you don't like Aaliyah Boston? Well, I don't think Katie Lou Samuelson really added much to the team, especially if she can't hit the three. She's too slow for defense. So maybe she'll play better this year. She's one more year removed from her having her baby, but she wasn't going to get much playing time. So I don't. They didn't really need her. What was she going to? What was Katie Lou going to contribute on the team? I guess that's why I don't think she was necessary. Well, if Aaliyah Boston gets injured, then you're going to need her bad. You know, Top Gun does not like Aaliyah Boston. Wow. I know Aaliyah Boston is looked out of shape in that one-on-one tournament, and she came into camp last year out of shape. But I don't think she'll dare come in and out of shape at the Fever camp this year. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I saw the one-on-one where she was up 6-4. A woman goes out to take a three-point shot, and she just stands underneath the basket. Like she couldn't even get through a half a game without being exhausted. Half a one-on-one game without being exhausted. I don't know what kind of shape she's in if she can't do that, but that's pretty pathetic, especially since she's been practicing and playing in Unrivaled. By the end of last year, she seemed to be running okay, though. But she needs to show up at camp that way. Yeah, so we got this opinion, and we got this opinion. I tend to agree with Dennis, but we'll see what happens. I mean, if she's a problem, it's obviously it was a mistake. If they did sign two players that are 33 and 3 players that are 33 and over, and when you're that age, like around 33 is when you tend to get injured easily. So we'll see what happens. All those signings of 33 and over players are risks. Like people like Temi Fingbinley, but she was 33 this year, right? And she got injured 3 times last year. I think Aaliyah Boston will play better this year. I think she'll come into camp in shape. I think that she'll get some pointers from the veterans that came in, and I think it will work out with Aaliyah Boston. I think sure numbers won't be huge because there's more talent on the team, but I think Aaliyah Boston will be. Rob's at work. Hopefully, be able next week. No, he's just at work. He was in Japan for almost like 2.5 weeks vacation, and now they gave him like 5 days at work. So we'll see what happens. I know Leah Boston is not a good fit with Caitlin Clark in the sense that she is on the slow side. But if they have 3 other people on the court who can run at the same time as her, 3 out of 4, that should be enough. Black History Month. Well, that's up to Rob. Right? He doesn't want to ask off for Monday nights. I can't do anything about it. He said he didn't tell me. I think he gets a schedule tonight for next week. So I don't know if he's working next Monday or not. I encourage Rob to be here. He had to work. We're going to have a design outlay for the back in the next couple days. Hopefully you guys like it. So you won't have to see this in the background. He works at a gourmet supermarket in the deli department. He works at a supermarket called Wegmans, which is the highest rated supermarket in the country. It started in our hometown, believe it or not. You can look it up. It's called Wegmans. It's been ranked number 1. Yeah, well, she came into camp out of shape. I'm really upset that she did, because if you think about it, she didn't have to. She had a big break from the end of her WNBA first season to the start of her second season. I don't even think she went overseas. And she comes in out of shape. Like, what are you doing? Why? You know you have a short camp, so you need to show up in camp in shape. Maybe not 100% tip-top shape, but in pretty good shape so that you be in great shape by the first game. You play games to work yourself into shape when you're a professional athlete, when you have a short season and a long off season. That's ridiculous. It was very irresponsible of her. And everybody really likes Leah Boston, including me. I think she has talent. I think she needs some guidance in that department. I think she needs some guidance with her footwork and strengthening her hand grip so the ball doesn't get knocked out of her hands all the time. Her defense could be better, but she has talent. So we'll see what happens. I think she's going to have a nice career. I think the players around her fine. She doesn't have to play 40 minutes anyways. They got a front court talent now. Play her 28 to 30 minutes. I get that, but if they have, it seems like most of the other people that she'll be on the court with, because assuming Dantas is on her replacement, can run. So do you really have to have 5 people that can run? Isn't 4 enough? I mean, if you're just looking at it that way, yeah, ideally it would be best if you had 5. But if 4 out of 5 people on the court can run, she can get the rebound, give it to Caitlin, and the other 3 people can run. I don't know. I can see that working. And then she can catch up later if they don't score, and you get your touches in the paint, as Christy Sides like to say. I don't know. Am I missing something? Isn't that okay? If 1 person out of 5 isn't that fast? Same thing with Dantas. What is White going to do? What do you mean? What is White going to do about playing time? I'm not sure what you're asking. I don't know what White's going to do. I think she's going to run a lot, and then she's also going to teach him how to run a half-court offense. Will Chamberlain could run when he was younger. He ended up lifting weights and gaining weight, and he was a lot heavier in his 30s than he was as a rookie. He was thin, and then he lifted weights and also gained a little weight. So I think if you looked at his weight when he was a rookie, when he finished his career, it was a big difference. Will Chamberlain was fast when he was younger, but so we'll see. They're going to do a lot of running, and I think Stephanie White is going to teach them how to run a half-court offense, because they didn't know how to run one last year unless Caitlin Clark figured something out. And so they could do that when they're not running. So, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Stephanie White will figure it out. She'll figure out when to run and when not to run. But I think she's going to run a lot. We heard what Sue Bird said. Tempo is tough to deal with, especially in the WNBA. I don't know if she said especially in the WNBA, but she said tempo is tough to deal with in this league, I think is the way she worded it. And it is, because there's too many women in that league that are just in there because they're big, not necessarily super athletic. And so if you're running and they're not super athletic, guess what? They're at a disadvantage. Yeah. So anyways, let me grab my other half of my teapot, my teacup. Yeah, I know Wilt made a criticism or two of Jabbar about, I don't know about his rebounding or toughness or defense underneath or something. And they started hating each other after that. And I think the one thing that you can say about Jabbar is maybe he should have worked out with weights, and he could handle the banging underneath a little bit better and have been a better rebounder in his second half of his career. He rebounded well earlier when he got by athletic ability. But so anyway, well, you can make a good argument for Wilt, Russell, or Jabbar as being the best center of all time. And I'm not going to, if you want to debate it, we can, but I have them like third, fourth, and fifth after Jordan and LeBron, but that's me. So we'll see. But I guess I'm confused why the odds for the Fever are fourth. They were really talent wise last year, like a 25-15 team with a bad coach that cost them 5 or 6 games. Does anybody disagree with that statement? That they would have been 25-15 if Stephanie White was their coach, or 26-14 if Stephanie White was their coach? Does anyone disagree with that? Let's say Stephanie White was a coach last year. What do you think the Fever's record would have been? Oh, no, that's a great question, Top Gun. It's one of my favorite questions of all time in basketball. And I don't have an answer to that. And it's not an easy shot, but it's not impossible. Nowadays, forget it. If they didn't learn it before the 3-point shot became really important, and they got all these stretch bigs. They're not going to learn it now. But they should have learned it before 10 years ago. It would have been very effective. It's still effective now if they wanted to learn it. But if they didn't learn it before, they're going to learn it. Chances of them learning it now are even less and less. I don't think it was that impossible shot to learn. It's just a hook shot. I mean, I saw Will play. I didn't see him in his prime, unfortunately. I just saw the highlights of his prime. And I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Will, but everybody else, some other people are, but I thought to me, he looked awkward. He just looked awkward to me when I saw him play, but he was in his early 30s when I saw him play. He was just kind of big at that time. There's nothing wrong with the hook shot. That's a great shot. It's really hard to block. I know there's this video that people said that Wilt blocked it twice on Jabbar, but the second one was actually a goaltend, second block. I know the video. If you watch the second one, is a slight goaltend. But yeah, it's hard to block, and it's effective, and it can be accurate if you do it right. You just got to practice it. It's not meant to be shot from 30 feet out, but it's great, within 12 feet or in. Unless you're Metal Lark Lemon. As I was watching the Metal Lark Lemon on TV, I think it was Wild World of Sports, and he was just like, they're showing that Globetrotters or whatever it was he was on at the time. And he's standing there by half court, and he goes, wait a minute, I think I got a shot. And he just does a hook shot from half court and swishes it in on the first try. And it wasn't edited. It was a live event. I was like, oh my God. There's no way he would have been a good WNBA NBA player. Eight more wins. Okay, well, so the whole point is, let's just say they had 6 close games. I think I figured out. So let's just agree on 6 games. So you mean to tell me they were 20? They should have been 26-14 last year. You mean to tell me with all these new additions and a much better coach, they're only going to go from 6th place to 4th place when they were basically in 4th place last year, talent wise? What am I missing? Please tell me what I'm missing, that they're only 4th in Las Vegas odds. They are underestimating how that Caitlin Clark is going to get better. One, because she's fanatic about getting better and she works on her game. Aaliyah Boston's going to get better because she's young and it's only going to be her 3rd year in the league. And we added a lot of talent, and just the coach could make a huge difference. I don't know. Okay. Maybe I look like an idiot, but let me check the odds again right now, because that really surprises me. WNBA championship odds. I'm willing to bet on the Fever. I think they get 4.5 odds or 5-1, right? Put $100 down. That's not a big deal. Let's see what we got here. Here's ESPN, who they're a bunch of idiots, but we'll put it on there anyways. Okay, when did this come out? Let me just see how old it is. It's October 21st. All right, October 21st, that doesn't count. That's too long ago, right? They have the Fever odds is 5th, but okay, let's do something more current. Let's see when this one came out. All right, this looks like it's more current. All right. No, I understand it's ESPN. I'm going to put the Las Vegas ones on too. I'm going to put a bunch of them on just to show you that this is like a universal thing, that they're completely underrating the Fever, in my opinion. Now, if they suck, then I'm 100% wrong, but I don't think so. I got Caitlin Clark's she was going to do this year 100% on the money, and in the Fever too. how they were going to do this year. And that's not even knowing she had a shitty coach. So I don't think I overestimated Caitlin Clark last year. Which one is it? All right. Yeah. All right, there you go. There is John Havlicek. He was a great player. Liberty 225. Aces. They got Fever tied for third with the Minnesota Lynx. Las Vegas Aces. Are you kidding me? Is there anyone that thinks the Las Vegas Aces are going to be better than the Fever this year? Oh my God, they overrate. They so overrate Asia Wilson. If you want to keep Liberty the favorite because they won it last year, that's your choice. But the Aces, oh God, let me see another one. That's ridiculous. The Aces should be around fifth right now, and they lost so many players, didn't they? What am I missing? Here's Sportsbook Review. Make it a little bigger so I can put it on the screen here. All right, so here's the Sportsbook Review. Liberty, Aces second. Seriously? Wow. Fever fourth. Oh my God. I know they lost too many players. I'm flabbergasted. This is a pretty. I'm trying not to take the ones that are old. These are Las Vegas odds. So let me just see. Here's one from February 4th. Aces still. Look at this. Okay, all right. Tell me, I must be crazy. Look at this. So Liberty, Aces, Lynx, Fever. Aces second again. Fever plus 550. Yeah, I ought to start placing before they come to their senses. That's a good point. Yeah, that's who is this? This is 550. That's the best odds I've seen. Maybe I should place with them. Who's that? How much do you think we should put down, guys? What's a good bet? We'll do a group bet. I have 10 people put in 100. Yeah, I have no problem betting 100. That's nothing. 100's fine. 1,000, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel 1,000. But we could do one of those group bets. Everybody just chips in $100 to $250 and put this big bet on the Fever. I know what I'm saying. I know. Yeah, they don't see. I guess they don't see what we see, how effective the Fever can be because they could run. Yeah, I'm thinking the Fever have a better chance than Clark. In fact, you could bet on Clark and bet on the Fever, and all you got to do is for MVP, and then all you got to do is win 1 out of 2, and you're doing great. I'm thinking you could win 1 out of 2 on that. What a chance of losing both those bets. That's not too good. What's his? Who's that guy who bet on the Fever last year? Dave Posner. What's his name? What's he? Oh, I forget what he's. Who's that guy? What's his name? He's a big Caitlin Clark fan. You guys know who I'm talking about? Dave Posner or whatever. I forget his name. What was he connected with? He's connected with. He's rich and he started some company. Yeah, that's his name. He bet on the Fever last year. I thought that was insane. He just had money to throw away. But he's gonna bet. I bet you he bets 100,000 on the Fever this year. Yeah, Portney, is that what his name is? Yeah, whatever his name is. He's a big Caitlin Clark fan. I'm thinking. Let me just check one other odds. What one was this? Is SportsBeat BMG? How about FanDuel? FanDuel is a big one, right? Okay. Okay. The Ace is second. I'm flabbergasted by that. The championship they won was 2 years ago. They didn't win it last year. They lost all these players. At least the Lynx, they were in the finals last year. And the Liberty. The Fever fourth again. All right. I guess I don't know. Either we're all geniuses or they're idiots. Because I don't see it. Oh. Right. Yeah, but they've picked up a bunch of free agents and they still haven't really changed the odds. So that tells me they're not paying attention. That's what it tells me. If I saw the Fever get that much better than when the season ended. Dennis McGuire says they're idiots. Okay. All right. One of us are idiots because we'll know at the end of the year. But I'm willing to put it on record that I think they have the best chance of winning of any team. I'll put it in a video, and I put it on video already. I'll do a whole thing right before the season starts. If the roster's final, I'll predict the order of the teams, but I'm waiting for everybody to finish their rosters before I put anything on a video. But I've said I already made comments on it, but though. Last year, I said the Fever would make the playoffs. I didn't predict the exact record. I didn't really know that much about him. I said Caitlin Clark would not win the MVP, but she would be first team All-Pro. I said she would average 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists and 6 rebounds. And Rob can back me up on this. And I didn't predict a shooting percentage or number of steals or number of blocks, so I won't even pretend that I did. And that was almost 100% spot on. She averaged 19. I think her rebounds were 5.6. Her assists were 4 or 8.6. I was only a little off on each of those numbers. So, and I'm sure anti-Caitlin Clark fans all told me I was insane for those predictions. First team All-Pro, 20, 10, and 6. Anyone who didn't like Caitlin Clark told me I was insane. And I'm sure you guys probably predicted something similar because you're Caitlin Clark fans. But I have it on video, so I can back this up. So it's one of our it's in our at least a couple of our first videos that we did right after the NBA season ended. So I'm just saying that seemed like I was being objective since it turned out to be true. And I think you need to be objective on this too. Like what Isn't Caitlin Clark going to get better? Isn't she going to be difficult to deal with a coach that's not holding her back and with the right people around her? They know a coach that knows how to call a timeout, a coach that knows how to drop a play near the end of the game, a coach that doesn't give her mixed signals of whether she has the green light to shoot. Some players that can handle her passes. I don't know. Even if they don't come in first, they'll gel by the end of the year, and then they'll be like on a roll and they'll win the playoffs, I think. Her risk for going down? Yeah, I have no idea. Which I've seen people predict as low as 17. And what was it? Michael Thompson? I think his first name is, I don't know if I forgot. Thompson, former NBA player. He said Caitlin Clark's averaging is possible. She could average 30, 35 points in the league. I'm not sure she's ever going to do that. Not because she's not good enough, but because she likes to pass. And they're going to always surround some good players around her because people are going to want to play with her. So I don't think she's ever going to average 30 points, but she's capable of it. So I don't know what she's going to average. I'm thinking this year she's going to shoot a higher percentage, but maybe take a similar number of shots. So maybe she's going to average like 20, 22, 10 assists and 5 rebounds. I think she'll get fewer rebounds this year because there's more rebounding help around her. So I'm looking at either 22, 10 and 5 or 20, 10 and 5. But I think she's going to have a higher shooting percentage. Forget about her free throws. She was already 90%. That's whatever it is. But her shooting percentage, I think, will go up. But I guess I'm probably going to end up predicting 22, 10 and 5. So I don't know what you guys think. I saw someone predict like 17. It was always possible if she gets really, she passes a lot, but I think her shooting percentage is going to go up. I think 27. Wow. She can average 27. Trust me. All she got to do is shoot more, but I don't know if she's going to. Now, I think Stephanie White will let her shoot, but she's got so much more talent around her. And she's going to be selfless. So I guess I'm going to go with 22, 10 and 5. And I don't think she'll get 6 rebounds only because if they let her, like if the other people say, oh, let her get the rebound so she can get the ball moving, yeah, then she'll get more rebounds. She may get 7 rebounds a game. But I think because she's got more talent around her, better rebounders, she'll probably get fewer rebounds than she did last year. But we'll see. It's hard to predict about the rebounds. But I could see as many as 7, but she may go down to 5. Which is what I'm thinking. 27 is a lot with all that talent on the team, but his shooting percentage would go up. Let me see what her shooting percentage was last year and how many assists, steals, and we could talk about that. I think she needs to average a decent number of points to get the MVP. I don't think it's necessarily important because what's her name? Alyssa Thomas got it second in the MVP voting 2 years ago and is not an offensive force. But, they judge Caitlin on different standards than everybody else. I don't see Enrique getting an MVP. I'm not sure she'll ever get an MVP because she shoots so much and she's streaky. But I don't know. Enrique is a good player. She's a better player than Mick Talks Hoops says she is. Her shooting percentage wasn't great this year, but she had an all-around game with assists and rebounds and steals. So she's just not a one-trick pony, Enrique. No, Lynn, I don't agree with that statement at all. Here's why. Okay. She'll win several MVPs and several titles. I would say she's going to be the first person to win at least 4 MVPs, and she'll win several titles because she has the right organization behind her, and she doesn't have to lead that organization. The league may hate her, but the AP voters did not shortchange her in the first team in the All-Pro voting or the MVP voting last year. I think she came in fourth, and she deserved exactly fourth. I think she deserved first team All-Pro, and she got first team All-Pro. AK Nation. Ack.
What's up?
What's up? Why don't you, I sent you a link.
I'm not even on my computer right now.
Okay. I got Ack Nation here, guys. All right, well, you're not on your computer? I could put you on that. So here we just got a discussion started. Here's the discussion. Noah Linden said, CC will never win the MVP or a title. The league will make sure of that. Ack, I'll let you go. I'll let you respond to that. You just called in.
MVP this year.
Yeah. Well, I agree. My point is even though some people who rate her higher than I do, I think fourth was correct last year in the MVP voting, and I think first team All-Pro was correct. And if that's the case, the AP voters, regardless of the league, are not that biased against her. They're slightly biased. There's a few voters that are biased against her, but not enough that she got screwed over last year. So that tells me, unless it's like a super close vote, like neck and neck, 2 vote difference or something like that, and there's some people that are biased against her, she will win the MVP when she deserves it, except in rare circumstances where it's super close. That's my feeling. You can tell me where my logic's wrong, but I don't know. That seems right to me.
They might not let her win unanimously.
Oh no, of course, forget that. Forget that. That's never happening. That's never happening for this. You saw the Rookie of the Year voting. I'm not even arguing that. I'm just arguing enough people will be fair that she'll win it.
Oh yeah.
Unless it's neck and neck, and like neck and neck, like truly should be neck and neck. Then there'll be some biased people against her, and then she'll not win it. But as long as she's got a decent distance between her and the second best person in the league, she will win the MVP every year that she's supposed to, unless the AP voters change, unless the who votes changes. But I don't think that's going to change. I think
she's going to win. She's going to win MVP next year. She's going to win the MVP.
Yeah, I'm going to bet $100 on her and $100 on the Fever. So, are you surprised that the Fever is right now ranked fourth in the odds for next year? And what would you rank them in possibility?
I haven't seen them play yet, so I think that's fair. Four is good because you haven't seen them play yet, and they got so many new players. Like, we assuming that everything will work.
Okay,
but we know they got better, but we just don't know how much better they got. I think fourth is pretty decent. That's cool.
Okay, well, let's forget about whether it's decent or cool, and we haven't seen me play yet. If you had to make a prediction, someone put a gun to your head and said, what place do you think they're going to come in this year? What would you say?
I can see second in their conference. I can see they could be the second best team in their conference. I think they're just going to win the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to win the regular season.
Fair enough.
The best record in the season, but I think once playoff times come, I think they're going to win the playoffs, though.
I said that earlier. I said that they may not have the best record in the league, but they're going to gel as the season progresses, and then at the end of the year, they're going to win the playoffs, whether they had the first, second, or third best record.
Yeah.
But I don't see them having only the fourth best record. They got the Aces second still, and they lost all those players. How does that make sense, Ack?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta look at it like this. When you get a bunch of new players, like remember, it happens in the NBA from time to time, and especially in the NFL. The person who wins the off season and has all the signings. I don't know if you remember the Redskins, the Fortune 500 Redskins. They cost a fortune and they finished 500.
I remember everything. I've been watching football since '65.
Yeah. We had Deion Sanders, Jeff George, Bruce Smith. We signed a bunch of Hall of Famers that off season. And we finished 8th.
Yeah, but weren't they over the hill at the time when you signed them? Weren't they past their prime? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. I mean, Bonner's past her prime, but she plays younger than 37, and so do I think is Natasha Howard, and I think Goldstein. They got some players that seem to play a little younger than they are. We'll see.
I'll put it like this. I think it's going to work. But if somebody wanna, hold out and wait to see if it works, I'm not gonna call him a hater.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not calling anyone a hater that doesn't predict them to win the title. I'm just saying I think they're wrong. That doesn't make them a hater. Because just because I think they're going to win, I agree with you. They might not get in first place in the year, but that's not what the question is. The question is, will they win the title at the end of the year?
Yeah, and I think they'll win the title. Because here's the thing too, like, okay, so
there's no sound.
You got the core. You got Aaliyah. Is Aaliyah going to get better? Is Aaliyah going to get better? Is Aaliyah, because remember, it's always drama with the WNBA. Every team. So how they going to handle the different dramas that pop up during the year? Last year, they didn't handle them well.
No.
This year, when the drama, because the drama going to pop up multiple times. You know what I'm saying? It's not just going to be one thing. It's going to be this thing, it's going to be that thing, this thing. It's a bunch of women, right?
Right.
So it's going to be, how do they handle each drama? And they got a bunch of woke chicks on the team. I mean, last year they had a bunch of chicks that just didn't really care about Caitlyn. They just kind of frosty towards her, but they weren't really doing activism against Caitlyn. The activism was coming from one of the players' girlfriends or something like that. But now this year, the activists are on the team. Yeah.
Well, my reasoning, which I gave earlier, was that they were better than their record last year. Now they got a coach that's going to make them even better, and they got better players and a lot more depth that are built to take advantage of Caitlin Clark's skills. So that's a huge advantage to have the right players around a unique talent of Caitlin Clark. And, she's only going to get better. She's going to come back on fire next year. And I think maybe she'll get a slightly better whistle, but I don't have a lot of confidence in that either.
Yeah. And listen, you're right. I mean, I think that this year it's going to be more eyes on the league than last year. So I think the ratings are going to be much better this year. So you're going to have more eyes on it. You're going to have more people reporting on it. Last year they kind of got away because the mainstream media treated them like girls. Like, oh, well, you can't say this about a girl. You can't say that about a girl.
Right.
This year the media is going to be treating them more like a regular league. Like, look, bitch, that shit you did was stupid. I didn't mean to curse, but look, I don't care if you're a woman or a man. That was some dumb stuff to do. Or I don't care if you're a woman or a man. Like, nobody should act like that. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're a black woman. That was unacceptable.
I think
all the black women got the benefit of the doubt. They got to do.
I agree that it's harder to criticize a black woman than it is to criticize a white male. I'll say that, especially in the media.
It's harder to criticize a black woman than it is to criticize a black man.
Yeah, they do seem to have some privilege. Look at Asia Wilson should get way more criticism than she's getting. She's getting a lot, but she should get even more. She's a despicable person.
Asia Wilson doesn't get any criticism from the mainstream media. All the criticism Asia gets is from Twitter,
right?
YouTube.
That's what I'm saying.
But listen, LeBron gets criticized on SportsCenter, on First Take, on Inside This Show, Inside the NBA. Asia Wilson.
No way.
Never gets criticized on any of the mainstream shows.
No, it's despicable that they don't criticize her. It's unbelievable. She's just a bad person, and she's done so much bad and said so many false things, and she's deceitful, and she just needs to be called out by the mainstream media, which they're not going to do because she's a black woman that they want to be the face of the league, and she's really not the face of the league. She just was the best player last year or whatever. And she's in her prime, so Caitlin Clark's she's gonna have her hands full to be the best player this year and to take that title away from her. But I think Caitlin Clark is up for the challenge, and I think it's going to happen this year. I think somewhere during the season, forget about the Caitlin Clark fans. They already think she's the best player. I don't agree with it. I think fourth was fine. somewhere during the season, people are gonna start saying Caitlin Clark's the best player in the league. I'm saying outside of her Caitlin Clark fans, more like the middle of the road people. They're gonna start saying that. And then it's gonna happen. I don't know how many games in, but like 20, 30, 40 games in. By the end of the year, people are gonna say she's the most valuable player and the best player in the league. And I think that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna really piss off A'ja Wilson.
She's not gonna handle that well, man. A'ja's not gonna. You're gonna have a meltdown once people start doing it.
Say it again.
I said once people start saying that Caitlin is the best player in the league, like actually saying it,
you're right.
Shows, A'ja's gonna have a meltdown.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Dawn Staley is gonna have a meltdown.
Right. She is. It's going to affect her mentally. It might motivate her, but it's going to still affect her mentally. It could probably ruin her concentration. I don't think she has the right mental attitude about that kind of thing. Michael Jordan would have the right attitude about that. He goes, I'll just work harder and I'll become better. If they said he couldn't, I'll show them I can do it. She'll do that and she'll lose her concentration because she's a narcissist and she's not as mentally tough as someone like Michael Jordan or Caitlin Clark. And it's too bad because I don't even think she'll get second in the MVP voting. I think Nafisa Collier will this year. I think Nafisa Collier will be second in the MVP voting and A'ja Wilson will be third. That's what I think. I think it's going to go Caitlin. In fact, can you do a win, place, and show when you bet on the odds? Can you bet someone to come in second and bet in third with Vegas? Because that's what I think.
I don't know.
That's what I like to bet. I like to bet Caitlin first, Nafisa Collier second, and A'ja third. What do you guys think of that? Do you guys think that's
Nafisa might win it. You never know.
Oh, I know. I had one betting her second, so I'm predicting her second. So obviously she could win it.
She's on a different level. She's that Unravel. When you see that Unravel, you can tell she's just playing a different game than the rest of the women.
Right.
All the other women are like a little bit out of control. Nafisa is in control of her body and in control of her mind.
Well, she's just hitting her prime too. She's like really hitting her prime. And like you could see, she was fourth in the MVP voting 2 years ago. I didn't watch 2 years ago, but she was fourth in the MVP voting, but a distant fourth. And last year she was second. So you can see she's getting better. And yeah, she's a threat to win the MVP next year, no question. So we'll see what happens. And she's likable. She's like one of the few stars in the WNBA that's likable. That's how sad this league is, that so few stars are likable. It's terrible. And this isn't just because it's women. There's all sorts of women athletes that are likable. They have them in tennis, they have them in golf, they have them in gymnastics, they have them in track. There's also soccer, the soccer team that won the gold this year, not the ones that won it 8 years ago. They were real likable. They weren't activists. They were young, exciting, fast. And same thing with
talking about the women's soccer team. They were awful, and people hated them.
No. I said not the one that won this summer wasn't. They weren't activists. It was. Okay, I said not the ones that won it 12 years ago. The ones that won it this year, they were likable. Coco Gauff is likable. Who's that? The golfer that's the best golfer in the world. She's very quiet, likable. The track stars for the U.S. team were likable. Kara Richardson, she grew up. She wasn't likable 3 years ago. Now she is. The gymnastic team was likable. There's a lot of likable women athletes, just none of them play in the WNBA. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm trying not to be a sexist by saying, yeah.
The thing about the WNBA is that, remember, they kind of like fashioned themselves as an activist league. Like, they said that they were going to do a lot of activism to gain a lot of attention. Remember around 2020, they were like, we're going to dive head first into the activism.
Well, I wasn't paying attention to the WNBA in 2020, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, they said, I wasn't paying attention to them, but I do remember hearing about them talking about, like, they were going to do a lot of activism, and they were going to be, in front of all these different movements and stuff. And the thing about it with women, like, it's just like the woman, like your girlfriend or your wife. Women are like kind of like know-it-alls and nags and shit, nagging know-it-alls. So if you think about an athlete that's a nag and a know-it-all, like it's like they just women, man. At the end of the day,
yeah, but it's not all women. It's there's something unique about this league. I just pointed out how many likable women athletes there are.
No, but here's the thing: everybody you mentioned played in a sport, a solo sport. Like
no, that's That's not true. I just said this year's soccer team was likable.
Yeah, but the soccer team, we don't really like get in. We don't know them like that. We not really like.
Yeah.
We don't know them, so we don't know how they are really. They get by with that being anonymous. But here's the thing: once we think about the soccer player we did know, Megan Rapinoe. Once we got to know one of them became a star, and we rarely got to know her, she was an asshole. I mean, she was a jerk. So it's like,
no, she was both.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so like once we got to know one of those soccer players, just one, it was like, oh God, get her out of here.
Right.
So this is you got to remember, like women are like they're gonna nag, and they think everything's supposed to be fair. Like, they don't understand that, like, some people get more than others. They think everything's supposed to be fair. Everybody's supposed to get the same amount. No. How does that? You can't do that in a team sport. Like, for instance, look at Sha'Carri Richardson, right? Sha'Carri Richardson, she all she has to do is worry about herself. The only time she got to worry about another one is on the relay, right? The girl passed her the baton on time. Coco Gauff, Serena Williams. Nobody watches doubles tennis. So when they play tennis most of the time on TV,
right,
it's just them out there by themselves. They don't have to worry about nobody else. Think about how when that girl, what's her name? The Japanese girl. The black Japanese girl.
Oh, yeah. I think she's half black and half Japanese. I forget her name right now.
Remember when she started getting good and beating Serena, and Serena couldn't beat her?
Right.
Remember how Serena started claiming the rest was cheating on her? And
Serena was 38, 39, 40 years old, though, when that happened. Right,
no, but you remember, Serena tried to act like the rest were cheating.
Right.
And then that little girl, she ended up having a mental breakdown.
Right.
All this drama.
Saki said her name is right. She did have. Yeah, she did it. She couldn't handle the pressure of becoming number one too. I think that was part of it.
Right, but she started like being on BLM. Then she dated a rapper, had a baby, became a baby mama, and then had a mental breakdown and had to step away from tennis. And she ain't been right since. It's always bullshit with women if you really think about it. Look at all of them. All of them either like it's some bullshit jealousy or whining about things not being fair. If you really look at it, they all got the bullshit with them.
I don't know. I saw the gymnastic team, and they seem like a very tight unit. They really support each other. In fact, they even supported the Brazilian gymnast that beat him in the I guess what event was it? It was the floor exercise.
Okay.
And they like bowed down to her and stuff. You know, I'm just saying.
Remember 2021, Simone Biles. She went over there and she had just met her husband, and he didn't come. Remember, he didn't come to the Olympics because of the COVID, right? So she couldn't even do the flips right, and she said she couldn't even.
She had the twist. She had the twisties. Yeah, but you have to understand, if you have the twisties and you compete in the gymnastics and you're doing flips, you could break your neck and your life would be over with. So
no, what I'm saying is that she had the twisties because her husband was back in the United States, and it was.
And how do you know that? Wait a minute. Wait. I can't you let you slide in that statement. There's no indication that's why she had the twisties.
I'm telling you, I know. She had the twisties because you gotta remember her husband, they weren't locked in like they are now. And he's a young, NFL player and shit.
All right.
All the girls online with one of them, and he was supposed to come to the Olympics with her. She was fine. When he said, okay, I ain't gonna be able to make it because of COVID, but I'm gonna support you from over here.
Right.
All of a sudden, I believe she had the mental breakdown, but I'm saying it was over her. It was over her husband not being able to make it, and she was fine until that.
I'm not buying it. Sorry,
Okay.
but I'd much rather
Okay.
make fun of I'd make fun of Asia Wilson than Simone Biles. I'm a big Simone Biles fan, and Simone Biles is a likable person.
I'm a Simone Biles fan too. Okay, look at the girl on the team, right? The gymnast team, right? This year, remember she won the bronze, right? But they said because they added up the.
I know the story.
Wrong.
It's still in court. It's still in court right now. They didn't. Right. They said they put.
Guess why she said they added up the score wrong?
No, they didn't add up the score wrong. What is they used the wrong degree of difficulty for a specific move, and so they got the score a little bit slightly off, and they challenged that. And turns out they say they challenged it in time, and they're saying they didn't. Well, then they're saying, well, you guys didn't challenge it in time, but they did. And they're saying, well, you can't appeal now. It's too late, even though they challenged it. It's bizarre.
Okay, I got you. I was just giving them the
right.
The quick version. Right. But what I'm saying is, guess why? I will give you one guess. Guess why she said there was that confusion? Guess the reason she attributed to.
Oh, she attributed to race, did she?
So it's like, yo, what the fuck?
Well, I don't know why the committee is saying saying that she can't appeal now when there wasn't even a hearing. There wasn't even a hearing.
But here's the thing: the best gymnast in the world is the black girl. So how could what I'm saying is, how could her brain think the first that they made that mistake because she was black?
No, I don't think the mistake was. I'm not sure she was saying the mistake was made. Saying they're saying
she said that.
No, wait. I'm not sure she was saying that. She might have been said the committee was being racist by not allowing the appeal anymore, as opposed to the scorekeeper making the error, which are two different things.
Every time you don't get something, it ain't racist.
Well, I understand that.
Every time something don't go your way, don't mean that everybody's racist. That's what black women do. Black women do that. Every time something don't go
it was probably because the committee doesn't like the U.S. and their dominance in gymnasts more than the fact that it's race.
It was about America. She said it was because she's black.
Yeah, I understand. She's still. Other than that comment, she was always likable. Before that comment, she's not perfect.
Here's the thing.
She's only 21 years old.
Hold on. You had never heard a word out of her mouth before then. The first
I followed the gymnastics before.
Mark, the first time you heard her speak, she became unlikable.
No, she was in the gym. She won the gold medal the year before, and I saw interviews with her before. I mean, after the Olympics, and she was very likable when I saw interviews of her after she won the gold medal. So that's not true. Because I follow the Olympics very closely, and I follow gymnastics.
You're talking about the girl, the other girl. I'm not talking about Simone Biles. I'm talking about the other girl.
I know who you're talking about. I think it was what's her name? Gold medal.
I can't remember her name. Lopez.
But I didn't. No, Lopez was the new one on their team. She was quiet. She didn't say anything. She was 16 years old. I don't think she didn't place. So, yeah. Well, if they want to be activists away from the sport a little bit, fine. I don't care about that. It's when they bring it into the sport is where I have a problem.
They always bring it into the sport,
and it's also the degree on how much they do it. They do it a lot in the WNBA, and too much.
And there's more players because there's more of them. In tennis, it's just Serena. It's just Coco.
Right.
It's just Naomi. In basketball, there's 150 of these motherfuckers.
Well, yeah, watch that word.
Oh, sorry. It's 150 of them. It's 150 of them. So you're going to get the racism, whining about racism every damn day.
Yeah, well, it's 156 now. So I have a problem with them doing too much of that, and they have made the league less popular because of it, and they don't see that. And then they complain that it's racist, that people don't like the fact that they're being activists. Even if I agree with their cause, I don't want it in my sport. I don't want politics or religion in my sport. I don't even want it in my discussion. I only discuss it on my channel because they force me to, because they make it an issue. So I agree with you that keep it out of it. Keep the activism in politics and religion out of sports.
They can't though.
Well,
they can't.
I don't like it. That's for sure. It turns me off. So you notice Caitlin Clark just wants to play basketball. She doesn't say anything. She just wants to play basketball. She just says what she, as little as she can, till they make her like say it 5 times. So, yeah, in fact, one guy did a whole video on the WNBA, and the WNBA was doing well for the first 3 years. And then they became activists, and they also demanded more money, even though the league was losing a lot of money. And it really turned off a lot of fans. And plus, they found out they couldn't make layups and weren't that exciting. And their popularity went down after their 3rd year in the league. And it hasn't been popular. It wasn't popular for 24 straight years until Caitlin Clark came around. And they're pretending that, it was popular all along. It was just building up slowly. That's what they're pretending. But the numbers don't say that because I've studied it. I looked it up. I had a whole chart and I put it on a video. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. My kid's about to come home, man. It's been good rapping to you, man. I'll holler at you later on, man.
Okay. Hey, I sent you an email about the show, about having the sports reporters type show. So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, all right, man. Take it easy.
All right, bye. Thanks for calling in.
All right.
Oh, well. Too many women athletes in one league. That's what it is. I don't know what it is, but these women in this league, who's uncomfortable? No, actually, that's not what I said. You didn't even, why do you just twist around what I said? I said I'm okay with them doing some activism away from the league, but they do it inside the league too, and they do a lot of it. Some activism away from the league, I have no problem with that. I'm not like these guys that don't want to hear nothing. I just think they do too much of it, and they tie the league in with it, and that's my feeling. I just don't like a lot of politics and religion in my sports. I want to argue about who's better and how they played the night before, not whether or not society still has issues. I can debate that away from the sports place. Under the rules, I don't know. I didn't say rules. I mean, it's on videotape. I mean, it's on tape. I said away from the league and try not to tie it in with the league all the time. So I don't know. I'll let the other people debate it. They all seem to like it even less than I do. I don't know why you're coming after me. I try to be open-minded about the athletes getting involved and having some say, because they are looked up to by people and young people. And so I just don't want a lot of it. And there's just too much in the WNBA. There's more drama in the WNBA than any league in the world. And that bothers me. There's more activism in WNBA than any league in the world that I know of. So that to me is too much. Basil thinks it's even worse than I'm saying, which is probably true. The league has been an activist nation. Yeah, it's just too much. Just a little bit, especially away from the league. Just, I'm not saying shut up and dribble at all. I don't believe in that. But it's a lot. And part of their activism has to do with the plight of the Black women and the Black lesbian and stuff like that. And that's part of the problem with how jealous and envious they are of Caitlin Clark. they feel they weren't getting enough attention because of racism and sexism and anti-gayism or whatever you want to call it. And it was their personalities and their style of play wasn't exciting. And so when someone who was not political and was exciting became popular, they said it had to be because she was white, which was only like, I think 10% of the reasons she was popular. I think 80% is her style of play. That's what I think. And like 10% is because she's a great player. It's really her style of play and her aggressive style of play and exciting style of play, which makes her so unique. That's just the way it is. It's just I mean, come on. Brianna Stewart came in with 4 championships and 3 player of the years and 4 Final Four MVPs. And nobody started watching the WNBA because of her. And she's white. So how they can't see that correlation between the difference between Caitlin Clark and Brianna Stewart and say it's all because she's white, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Because it would have happened with Brianna Stewart. So that's just silly. And Kelsey Plum and Sabrina Ionescu moved the needle a little bit. Kelsey Plum happens to be attractive, but they moved it a little bit, but they still didn't move it. They moved like 1/10 that Caitlin Clark did, and they're white. Asia Wilson didn't move it because she doesn't have a good personality. She's not an exciting player. I don't know. You can see you can tell me what I'm missing there, but I'm not missing anything, I don't think. And that's really all it amounts to. They just don't like the fact that she's white and getting all this attention. They think if a black lesbian didn't get it, it's unfair. Well, then a black lesbian should have played basketball like Caitlin Clark if they wanted that to happen. And they didn't. And they don't. If a black lesbian comes around and plays like Caitlin Clark, maybe not as popular as Caitlin Clark, but will be very, very popular. Guarantee you. I guarantee you. Michael Jordan was black, and he could have been much more popular if he was white. Would have been a little bit more popular, at least in this country. But you had a black athlete that was the most popular athlete in the world for like a 30 to 40 year period, and he was black. So people didn't care about his race. A little bit. Like I said, if he was white, he would have been a little bit more popular in this country. So we'll see. What's going on? So anyways, we'll find out what happens this year or how they treat Caitlin Clark. But they treated her like crap last year. And for not a good reason, because she's a good person. She's the most mature person in that league. There are a bunch of immature women with an immature league that's unprofessionally run. Well, the First Amendment, now I'll get into this, pertains more to the government and not the public forum. So I'm not using the First Amendment argument against the women for their activism. I'm really letting them know that the fans don't want it. They come to watch sports as an escape from society where they have those issues that they have to, I don't know, hear about. And they don't want to hear about it in sports. It's certainly not to any great degree. A couple seconds here, a little bit here, fine. But not all the time. I don't understand your comment. Dennis. I'm trying to understand your comment. So maybe nothing. Not okay. The news media calling out Cece for everything she accomplished caused the problem. I yeah. I don't think the media overhyped Caitlin Clark. I think the media followed what the fans wanted to hear about. So I'm not blaming the media for Caitlin Clark getting a lot of attention. They're going to write about whatever the fans want to read about or hear about. They didn't. When Michael Jordan was playing, the headlines were about Michael Jordan, and every time they did an NBA inside show, a show on NBA or whatever like that, first thing they do is they talked about Michael Jordan or saw his highlights or did an interview with him. That wasn't the media's fault. That's what people wanted to hear. The same thing with Caitlin Clark. So I don't believe that's what caused the problem. What caused the problem is they couldn't handle. I don't agree with your statement, Dennis. Well, they couldn't handle the fact that this woman was getting so much attention and so much money, and it wasn't them, and she wasn't a black lesbian. And so they thought society was being biased against them because it's a predominantly white society and this is a predominantly black league. That's what I think happened. And yeah, I mean, you can look at Top Gun. Underhyped. Yeah. I mean, look at her attendance, look at her ratings, look at her t-shirt sales. And now, if Nike wasn't the worst company in the world, look at her shoe sales. Look at her Wilson balls sales. Her popularity. She didn't become the first athlete, other than a week or two after the Olympics. You just have to understand how significant this was. She's the first female athlete to be the most popular athlete in the country in over 150 years of sports in this country. That is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable fact. And she is probably the most popular female athlete in the world. I won't say the most popular athlete in the world because it's probably Lionel Messi, but because soccer's bigger worldwide. But she's probably the most popular female athlete in the world. That's a unique concept. It wasn't because of the media. It's because we're following. So I don't buy that argument at all, Dennis. I think that's what they think. They think the media made her into a big star. No, the fans made her into a big star because they wanted to watch her play so badly. That's exactly why they're jealous and envious of her. Because that's what they think. The media did nothing wrong. The media just promoted whoever was popular. Okay. See how it works, or maybe you don't because your view seems to be the other way or the highway. Just because I'm disagreeing with you, that's stupid. Just because I'm disagreeing with you doesn't mean that's how I view. Other people saying she's underhyped. So is it? So how come it's me? I don't understand, Joseph. Tell me where I'm getting it wrong. You really think that the media hyped up Caitlin Clark because she was white and not because she was popular? Because that's what you're saying. Do you really believe that? Just you can give me a yes or no answer. Oh, okay. Oh, not me. Okay, not me. All right. Hey, everybody. Retro Hairstylist is here. So, oh, okay. It was about you in the First Amendment. Okay, all right. Sorry, I thought he's talking to me. All right. What's up, Retro Hairstylist? How are you? You're late, but we'll forgive you. Okay. All right. Look, I don't have a problem. if you still disagree with what I'm saying, but just give me some facts on how I'm wrong. I mean, I just see the media doing that with everybody. Who's ever the hot ticket, that's who they write about. That's just common sense and common knowledge, actually. And I don't know. I would have promoted Caitlin Clark even more if I was the media. It's just that to me, she's the most exciting athlete since Michael Jordan. And for that reason, I would have hyped her up even more. That's just me. She captivated me. And so we'll see. Oh, I'm just teasing you about being late, Rick, your hairstylist. Did you have some hair appointments? We're all forgiving you for being late. You had to do some hair work, hair extensions, haircuts. So yeah. Okay. All right. I think that people will look back on this first year in her league, and the league, the players, the commissioner, the marketing executive, some of the media, a lot of the mainstream media, some podcasters, some people on X, we're all going to look like a bunch of idiots. And how they treated Caitlin Clark and how they treated her so unfairly and underrated her. That's me. I think that they're going to look real bad 20 years from now if someone looks at this in retrospect. And hopefully this year they'll tone it down and we will have a less political, more enjoyable league with less drama. Because isn't that all what we want? We want less drama. I mean, if you want more drama and more politics, I don't know, go somewhere else. I guess go follow something in politics. Who's with me? Less drama, less politics. How far into the league? I don't know. I'm just saying. I said 20 years, right, as an example, but who knows? I'm just saying people will look back on this and say, well, that was dumb how they treated Caitlin Clark and unfair. And Nike's going to look like the worst business in the history of sports 20 years from now. So do you guys think it's fair that I already voted for Caitlin Clark for MVP this year? Do you think that's fair? Do you think it's equal to A'ja Wilson getting the vote in the first week of the season last year? I literally heard people saying she should be the MVP this year. It was after 2 or 3 games, which is only 1 week into the season. I literally heard comments like that. Look at how A'ja Wilson played last night. She's going to be the MVP this year. She should be the MVP this year. Yes, keep politics out of sports. So my joke is they moved it back. People used to talk. I know they keep making it earlier and earlier when they start talking about MVPs in sports. But when I was growing up, they didn't talk about it until like 3/4 of the way through the season. Now, because of media and they have to have something to talk about, they moved it back to halfway through the season, stuff like that. So they were saying it in preseason. All right, I wasn't paying that close attention. I heard it after game 2, I believe. And I know they were complaining about her not winning the MVP the year before, but I didn't hear her saying she should be the MVP this year. But it was literally the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in sports, where someone was anointed the MVP immediately just because they were ticked off she didn't win it the year before, and whatever, because it's a black league and she's black. I don't know what the reason was. Brianna Stewart is not a lousy player, and she won the MVP the year before. It wasn't like, A'ja Wilson doesn't win it every year. Her fans complain. Oh, yeah. It will be funny this year where the Indiana Fevers will get all the All-Star votes. You think they're going to have 5 All-Stars? I heard someone say they might get 5 All-Stars this year. I'm just trying to say limit the politics. That's all I'm saying. I know politics affects sports. It shouldn't, but it does. I didn't follow politics my whole life until I did over the last 8 or 9 years more, but it depresses me. I don't want to follow them anymore. I want sports to cheer me up. Who's Becky? I don't know who Becky is. Becky who? Retro, who's Becky? Retro, who's Becky? I don't know who that is. Fever have 10 All-Stars. Oh, Becky Hammond. Oh, well, yeah. Becky Hammond's not likable anyway. She's not likable. Oh, I don't remember. Yeah, I know she is. Okay. Yeah. I mean, when she didn't win the MVP award, Becky Hammond, the Defensive Player of the Year, she complained, saying that she got ripped off. Any award that she doesn't win, she got ripped off. Like there's a conspiracy against her by the voters. My God. I didn't watch the 2023 season. I have no idea whether she deserved the MVP or not. So I'll say that. I looked at the stats. I looked at their records. And you can understand why people got votes. She got a 4th place vote that she's losing sleep over, when even if she got a 3rd place vote instead of a first place vote, she still would have come in 3rd in the voting. So, because I looked at the voting. Oh, yeah. So we can talk about that. I have mixed feelings for the second free signing in a row, but I'm trusting the organization that they think that she will not be a disaster locker room wise, but they don't seem to be consistent about the culture thing that they talked about, given her history and tweets and everything like that. She's basically anti-Caitlin Clark. Yeah, I mean, Becky Hammond, she was screwed over in the Olympic team, and I backed her up when it happened because she was 2nd in the MVP voting, and they didn't even put her in the first 24, the first 20, because I think Ann Donovan, who was the head of the committee, didn't like her. That's not a reason. Yeah, there was something going on there. I don't know how far the conspiracy went. You know what I mean? I don't think the commissioner pulled over the head of the referees and all the referees into a room and said, "Listen, I want you to give Caitlin Clark a bad whistle. I don't want to give any calls whatsoever. And if she gets assaulted, don't call it." I don't know if it went that far, but it sure seemed that way. I really try my help. I hate people who aren't objective in sports, and I go out of my way to try to be objective. And I don't remember any athlete, at least in basketball, receiving a worse whistle than Caitlin Clark in watching basketball since around 1969. If someone else can tell me what player got a worse whistle than her, let me know, because I don't remember it. I know there was players that, like dirty players that everybody hate, got better whistles than she did. I bet you Bill Laimbeer got a better whistle than she did. The commissioner's awful. She seems like a ditz to me. Can I say ditz? Can I call her ditz without being sexist? Can I say that? She seems like a ditz. She just doesn't. She seems clueless. Yeah, Aaliyah Boston got a shitty whistle especially when she went up against. I brought this up in a couple, like at least 3 of our videos. The first time they played, I guess the second time was the second time they played the Aces, and it looked like Caitlin Clark had a lot of momentum for some MVP votes. And if they crushed the Aces and Caitlin Clark had 2 great games, guess what? There would have been more momentum for Caitlin Clark to get the MVP. So what happens in the first game? Aaliyah Boston gets 6 foul calls. A'ja Wilson got 0. And I didn't see that much difference in the style of play or the defense. And one of them they showed it was a phantom call. So yeah, the Fever got a bad whistle in general because they didn't want Caitlin Clark's team to win because that would be Caitlin Clark being successful. So it was the same thing, but she got even worse whistle than the rest of her team. Bill the Enforcer. Yeah, I didn't like Bill Lambert. Sorry. I'm not as but Lexi's a little bit physical when she defends, but I like her defense. So she's not dirty. She's can be physical without being dirty, which is why I like her defense. She's aggressive. She stays close to her woman. They were picking up the baseline and they were doubling her at half court. Yeah, I know. I can't wait to see what happens when Paige gets in the league. Suddenly they're going to say, "Oh, we don't have to pick up this point guard in the beginning." I wonder why. Even though she's better than Caitlin Clark, we're not going to have to double team her. What's this? Notre Dame's crushing Duke. Hannah Dago had a bad game last year. I still think she should get. I would vote for her for MVP, Player of the Year right now, but she needs to close out strong. Yeah. Oh yeah. So Duke has that Toby Fournier. I suppose she's only played basketball for a couple of years. She's 6'2" and can dunk. She doesn't even start, and she's their leading scorer and leading rebounder, and they still won't start her. That's just like, what's going on? You won't start the person who's your leading scorer and leading rebounder? That's bizarre to me. It's almost like someone's ego is going to get crushed on the team. I don't understand that. You can look it up. I mean, she was the last I looked. She had like the 6th most amount of minutes, but she led the team in assists. I mean, she led the team in rebounding and scoring. She doesn't have a shot. She can only score from underneath the basket, but she can dunk and play defense and score and rebound. And supposedly she's only been playing a couple of years. She's from Canada. She could turn out to be a great, great player if she's a late bloomer. She's got pretty good size, 6'2", or I think. So let me see. So that game's going on right now. Notre Dame Duke. Isn't Duke like around 9th or 10th in the country? Let me see what they did rankings come out this year. Let me see. NCAA women's rankings came out this morning. They came out today. And Notre Dame is number 1. And Texas is number 2. UCL is number 3. USC is number 4. So we can talk about the rankings here. Put this on the screen. Let's see. Which one is this? All right, those are the rankings that came out today, if anybody cares. I don't know. I think I still would have voted for UCLA. All they did is lose one away game to USC, 4th in the nation. So I go by the whole year, but anyways, doesn't matter, like I said. I talked about it earlier, but people weren't here. Some people weren't here. Yeah, I would still vote for UCLA. If they lose another game, that's a different story. But It's an away game they lost against a team that's fourth in the nation. It's just like Notre Dame has played great since they lost 2 in a row, but they lost 2 in a row and they lost to like much weaker teams. So we'll see. And Texas. So yeah, Texas didn't look that impressive. They struggled offensively, especially. You know what? I will tell you that they call traveling a lot more in women's college basketball than they do in the than they do in the NBA. NBA, they make the same exact moves, and there's no travel call. If that woman hesitates with her feet before she drives to the basket, they call travel every time in women's basketball. I'm going to reserve judgment on Paige until she gets the WNBA. I think something is Iowa ranked. I don't know. I just put it up there. I'll check for you. Let's see. I don't see Iowa ranked. Duke is 11th going into this game. Iowa didn't even get a vote. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they're not even ranked in the top 37. So really, did they lose that? I know they had a 5-game losing streak and they kind of dropped them out. They never got back in there. Yeah. Well, it was gradual. I think Dr. J did a little bit of that. It wasn't just Jordan. Dr. J did some of that. And also Connie Hawkins did a little bit of that, a little bit of the bombing and traveling thing. It just was gradual. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Now I don't even know what traveling is anymore. It's a shame because it gives them such an advantage over the defense. Oh, yeah, LeBron James is this thing was when the ball comes to him, he starts running with the ball about 3 steps before he starts dribbling. How's that not a travel? So yeah, in yesterday's game against I think all 3 of the travel calls I saw were against UConn players, and there was 3 of them, and it was kind of like the same move. I think it was the same ref too. He just didn't like it if you shuffled your feet or hesitated before you decide to pivot or drive to the basket. He called a travel every time. I didn't watch they didn't show it on replay or slow motion to see whether it was the right call or not. But Gino didn't like the call for those his players. I'd like to go back and look and see if they were calling it right or not, but I don't know if I'll waste my time. So anyway. Iowa, yeah. Iverson palmed the ball more than anybody else when he, supposedly his great crossover was based upon dribbling from the bottom of the basketball. At least Tim Hardaway dribbled from the side of the basketball when he started the crossover move. Go watch. You guys remember Kenny Anderson? Go watch how he dribbled. He actually dribbled the ball from the top. You can't tell me LeBron James does not do steroids in HGG. I don't know. I didn't say he started that. I said Tim Hardaway didn't carry the ball like Allen Iverson did. No, I know he didn't invent the crossover, but he's made it popular, made it famous. But go watch him dribble the ball, Kenny Anderson, and you'll see it's like a yo-yo when he dribbled, and it was from the top of the ball. You can dribble and have great control and not palm the ball and not carry it from the bottom. But now That's essentially, I watched highlights of these kids, and they were like 10 years old, and they're all dribbling from the bottom of the ball. The bottom of the, they're going like this. That's how they dribble now. Big advantage to get by you can blow by the person easier when you're carrying the ball. Yeah, I thought he was going to be a little bit better in the NBA than he was, Kenny Anderson, but he still had some all-star years, and he had a good career, and he was a fantastic dribbler, really good passer. So, yeah, these kids, I've seen highlights of kids, and they palm like crazy. They trash talk. Man, it's just like, wow. I wonder where they get that from. Angel doing steroids? Why would Angel have to do steroids? Yeah, I saw two videos that said that someone got fired, that Elle Duncan got fired. There was videos made about that, and she wasn't really fired. I think these AI things, he put them out, and they get like 1 million views. I don't think YouTube is making them let them have commercials on channels like that. Yeah, I like Jokic. I actually like watching him play, even though you wouldn't think I think he's an exciting player in the sense of this is how smart he plays and how great a passer he is. You think Jokic gets a horrible whistle? I don't know. I didn't notice. People thought Jordan got a great whistle. But the Stars have always gotten good whistles, and I don't necessarily agree with that. But a good whistle, yes. Whether he got a great whistle, like way better than anybody else's, I'm not convinced of that. But I remember Doug Collins would talk about Shaq. He didn't say whether he got a good whistle or a bad whistle. He just said that he was so hard to officiate because one of the reasons, because he was getting hacked a lot, and they had to be physical with him because he was also very physical, and he was also, my brother calls it bully ball, which Shaq did. So yeah, I think my brother didn't like that he got away with charge. He does that. He says that about LeBron too. He charges too much and gets away with bully ball. But Shaq got hacked a lot too, because he was so strong. The ref said, "Well, he's strong. He can handle the hacking." So yeah, the thing is that they didn't have the flagrant 1 and 2 rule in place when Jordan started. Otherwise, he would have got some fair whistles for the flagrant 1 and flagrant 2 calls. Instead, he just got fouls. And sometimes he didn't even get foul calls at first. But yeah, I think Shaq one is a hard one to evaluate. I agree with Doug Collins. Even if he did get a good whistle, it was hard to evaluate and hard to, especially in real time. Like, if you're a ref, calling a charge or a block, man, that's a tough call. That may be the toughest call in sports. It's certainly the toughest call in basketball. A charge or block, it's got to decide that in an instant. You got to see whether their feet are set or the inside or outside that line sometimes. So I wouldn't. That's one reason I wouldn't want to be a ref in basketball. Just that call is so hard to make. It's like the pass interference call in football, and the holding. Like when is it too much? holding and how much, too much of a pass interference. Because they touch them, and they're not even supposed to touch them. Well, they have computers. They've done computers on balls and strikes, and they're more accurate than the umps. They just won't replace them. They were accurate. They were like, I don't know what the difference was. It was like they were like 5 and 10% off, and the refs were like 15% off. But they don't want to replace the refs. They want to use human refs. Yeah, Rob and his father were both basketball refs. His dad did it for 25 years. And Rob was too, but I don't know how many years he did it. My brother has done soccer for, I don't know, like 40 years. He still does it for the high school kids. She already turned on Caitlin Clark fans. Oh, just more drama in the WNBA. I just want the season to start May 17th. Can't come soon enough. What did she say? Did she tweet something, or did she say something? She hasn't even made the team. I understand that her contract is a camp contract. I heard someone say that. I don't know if it's true. Black and White Sports? No. Black and White Sports 2 or Black and White Sports? They got two channels or two different hosts. A black guy and a white guy. One's called Black and White Sports, the other one's called Black and White Sports 2. The white guy never criticizes Caitlin Clark. Nothing. Never says a thing about any of her shortcomings of her play or anything she says or does. Everything is 100% Caitlin Clark positive. I don't think that's good broadcasting, but that's me. The white guy, yeah, it's Black and White Sports 2. I mean, I would respect him more if he just complimented her 90% of the time. But it's just as bad as like, well, it's not as bad as Natalie Esquire, because she's just as honest. He's like Mick with his sources. Yeah, I don't know. Mick likes the new signing. He doesn't care about the off the court stuff. Turner. Who's Turner? Oh, Turner is just like Natalie. Yeah, I mean, she might be. Natalie, God, she's despicable, that woman. So, Adrian Ross will post it. I like Adrian Ross. As long as she doesn't, I wish she'd quit mentioning religion all the time. But other than that, I think she's smart. I think she knows basketball. I think she's analytical. And she has good takes. So anyway, hey now. What's hey now? By the way, if you want to donate to this channel, there's super chats and super thanks down below. And there's also links to PayPal in the videos. Rob needs the money. Come back from vacation. He said he spent it all in Japan. Mick, he told me he should get his schedule for next week today when he goes into work. You'll pray for me? Is somebody going to kill me? So he should be back. If he doesn't work next Monday, he'll be back Monday. He comes on whenever he's not working Monday nights. Unfortunately, they give him like 4 or 5 shifts every week. So God bless America. All right. Yeah, I was watching this video, and it wasn't Natalie's video. She was a guest on another video. And there was like 4 people talking, all black. And they were talking about Caitlin Clark. They were talking about the incident with Kennedy Carter. And the guy host said, Caitlin Clark, she totally flopped when Kennedy Carter blindsided her. And Natalie Esquire almost went through the screen agreeing with him. Yes, I've been saying that. So after that, I said, okay, so you're just dishonest. Not only are you biased, you're dishonest too, because nobody on this planet thought she flopped on that play. She didn't even know it was coming. God bless Mark and Rob Swartz. Thank you. Thank you, Top Gun. I'm not religious, but I appreciate it anyways. The show will be better now. Retro likes the religious part of the show. Oh, okay. Well, she said, I'll see you next time, God willing. And then she started talking about, oh, this woman's a good person because she's a religious person. So I don't like that. I keep religion out of sports, just like politics. That's my rule, as much as I can. Of course, I guess they drag me to the politics a little bit in this gosh darn drama league. It's women. Thank you, Retro Hairstylist. Appreciate it. I have to check out your channel. In fact, let me go. Is that the name of your channel, Retro Hairstylist? You want to plug your channel? You can if you want. Thank you. And you're welcome. What's the name of your channel again? Is Retro Hairstylist the name of your channel? That are close to God. Yeah, like they have some kind of secret connection. Yeah. Don't get me started. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Can I copy and paste that? Hang on, if I go here. All right, this is your channel. Everyone, this is your channel. So if you want, you can check it out. Subscribe to it. Let me look it up right now. Retro Hairstylist 1983. I think I got a YouTube one open. Let me just see. Oh, I closed it. Hang on. That way I could. Let me open up YouTube. I'll subscribe to it. I just subscribed to your channel. You're welcome. All right, you got a new subscriber. How many subscribers you got? Let me see. I didn't even look. 240? You're growing. Takes a while. It grows a little faster if you have Caitlin Clark. If you guys aren't doing anything, subscribe to her channel. Okay, yeah. Anybody else have a channel you want to promote? If you have a channel, I don't mind promoting it. So, all right. So some people didn't like the new hire. but I think strategy-wise and position-wise is a good hire. I hope that it's not a cancer. I hope that Sidney Crosby's not a cancer either. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think Stephanie White will be able to keep this team under control personality-wise. I think people respect her, and I think she doesn't. I think she can keep control. Vonda Phillips. Oh, you want? I told you I try not to talk about religion on my show. Ask me off the air. Email me, Vonda. Email me. I'll tell you my views. My email is on my channel on the top. You can find it. I don't hide my email. Switch. Let me see your channel. Let me go look. I just subscribed to it. I didn't really look at it. They allowed me to subscribe without even looking at it. Go Browns, huh? You and Rob. Rob's a Browns fan. You started in October 2023. So almost a year and a half. All right. I see an atheist in the background. Well, I said I try to keep religion and politics out, so I don't want to get into it. What's important is that Caitlin Clark wins the MVP and wins the title. I'm convinced of this. Is like when they started getting, yeah, I style my own hair. I have a different hairstyle every day, like for 4 straight days, and then I shave it. I have a different style every day. So because it's different length 4 days in a row, I actually have 4 different hairstyles. You just can't notice the difference. See, like tomorrow will be different because it'll be a little bit longer. The next day will be a little bit longer. That's a different hairstyle every day. You're sorry to hear what? That I don't need a hairstylist? I got my razor, twice a week razor. Shave it off. No, I didn't see your comment above it, so it wasn't on purpose. Oh, I'm sorry to hear it too. But Josh Salas, I didn't see that comment until now. Till afterwards. Let's see. All right. Yeah, Vonda, you can email me anytime you want, as long as it's within reasonable reason. Bobby emails me. Sometimes, once in a while, he gives me an idea for a video. He likes to have his opinion too, so he gives extra comments in the email. Where's he today? Where's Bobby? Vadim, Vonda Phillips. I didn't give Bobby my email. I have it on the top of my channel so people can email me for business purposes if they want. No, so far I've been flooded with emails. Only like 2 people have emailed me from the channel, so it hasn't been a factor. You can always block people if you have to. Yeah, I don't know where Bobby is. He gives me a hard time whenever he writes something, makes a comment. He goes, Caitlin Clark, the 4th best player in the league, because he thinks she's the best player in the league. And I said, I'm happy. I'm confident that the 4th is about right. So he keeps arguing. I mean, I don't know if he's arguing. He keeps repeating that same phrase over and over again. It doesn't matter. She'll get it this year. What's more fun, blocking people or canceling plans? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Ben Daniels' podcast and Chicks Dig Scar podcast, they seem to agree on everything. They're both. I think Ben Daniels' contest. They're both from Philly. Well, all 3 of us are from Philly. I don't know them, but they're friends apparently. They became friends, and they seem to agree on every take. I don't agree that it was these 2 last signings were disasters. I think they're blown out of proportion. I have mixed feelings about both of them, but I'm not going to go as far as say they were disasters. I do think there was truth in the inconsistency of their culture of the locker room with this, especially this last signing. So, yeah, sometimes he swears a lot, Ben. I'm not really offended by the swearing, but I don't think it's necessary. I've just decided I didn't want to swear on my channel because it could affect your commercials. He's banging on the table? Really? He showed his face finally on a couple videos and then he disappeared again. Yeah, it's from a movie. He explains where he got it from. I think he explains it up top. I'm trying to invite him to the show that I want to do on Monday nights with a like sports reporters type show, but they didn't respond. The only one that I got committed to is Eck. And so yeah, he said he went on a rant about what was it? Williams, or what was her name? Who got in a fight and they just brushed that underneath the table, but Kennedy Carter's was kicked off 2 teams, and then she went over to Europe. I understand she got suspended there. And she had an incident in China, even though they gave her an award. And then she came back here. And when she played in Chicago, even though her coach sucked, people didn't like her there either. So she's got a whole history of it. And then she did what she did to Caitlin Clark. She basically assaulted Marina Mabry. I don't want a player like that on my team. I'm sorry. Well, Eck would be in small. I would do it with 4 people, so he'd only get 1/4 of the talking. I told him that it takes him too long to get to his point. And people have told him that before too. He gets too long to get to his point, but he's a smart guy. So, and he knows basketball. So I will give him that. So I at least listen to his opinions. I think she needs help. I agree. She is emotionally, she's unstable emotionally. She needs counseling, and she needs some guidance from, I don't know, family, friends, whatever, somebody older, more mature than her. She's got emotional problems. There's no question about it. I would not want her on my team. And I agree with everybody else that she's a super talent offensively, and especially her 2 game and some meds. Yeah, meds would probably help. But then she couldn't play basketball because people feel they feel draggy afterwards. Pretty sure she's bipolar. Yeah, she might be. I think she's immature too. So, but bipolar makes you appear to be more immature than you are because of the up and downness of your brain. Yeah, I want to see let me Google that, because I Googled and found out her contract was 85,000, but I didn't Google whether it was a regular contract or a camp contract. What's her name? Brianna Turner. Did Brianna Turner sign camp contract? Regular contract. With the fever. Okay. This says it's not listed as a training camp contractor, and Chickstick Scar podcast said it was, but this does not say it is for sure. It's a 1-year unprotected contract, which I don't know what that means, but that's what it says here. It says, so I don't know whether it's a training camp contract or not. 1-year unprotected contract. It'll say so on that one. Let me see if they put it in there yet. Yeah, Kennedy Carter's a better player than Angel Reese. Of course, Angel was just a rookie, but it doesn't matter. Let's see. Fever contract. Let's see what this is. Spot Rack. Let's see, Jaylen Brown. Spot Rack has not updated their site, so I don't know. We'll find out. I doubt they shouted to her. I doubt she got signed to a camp contract. I don't think that's the same thing as the unprotected. Let me ask. Let me ask that. So what's Okay. So I believe that Chicks Dig Scars podcast was incorrect to call it a camp contract based upon the information I just got from ChatGPT Google search. And so this is the answer I got. They said that she got an unprotected contract in that last search that I did. Let me just see if I can do this. Oh. And it says, it says a camp contract is non-guaranteed short contract that is typically given to players during training camp to evaluate the performance, while an unprotected contract refers to a regular contract that can be claimed by another team in the dispersal draft if a player is cut by their team. But in my last search, it said that Brianna Turner signed an unprotected contract, not a camp contract. So I do not believe she has a camp contract. I believe Chicks Dig Scars podcast was incorrect when he gave that information out today in his video, because I listened to it. Mark, don't you know that Dawn Staley has never gotten the best out of her team? I don't know. I'm not going to get into that conversation again. People got upset because sorry. Rob shook his head at that when I told him about that discussion. He did not buy it. He agreed with me. Well, she didn't last game. Do I like Fly Hippie? Yes, of course. Fly Hippie's cool. I like his intro. He goes, "Let's get it." I can't say it like he does. Are you asking me this question twice? It looks like you did. You really want to answer that question. He's trying to start something. Really? I thought he's always been positive about Caitlin Clark, Fly Hippie. I don't like X. I'm never on X. Like, I don't even post. That's why I probably don't have 2 followers. I never post. But I like Ken Swift on X. I didn't. What words did I put in your mouth? Tell me what I said that's different than what you said. I don't remember saying anything differently than what you said. I argued against that point. And there was more to it than there was 2 lines that you said also. I don't remember the exact line above that. What is Chakalaka? What is that? I have no idea what you're talking about. I still disagree with you, just so you know. I don't think they go through the motions more than any other team. So, in fact, less than other teams. Who is a tamed down version of Da Pope? Who's that? Who are you talking about, Top Gun, on this one here? No. Who is the tamed down version of Da Pope? Oh, chat. I don't even know who that is. That's a YouTuber? Okay, I'll look it up. Da Pope is a good is it Caitlin Clark fan? I know. Didn't he do a song or something? Chalk Kalata. ALA. T Place. CHACALA. T Place. All right, I'll look it up. I don't know who he is. You got banned? Why did you get banned? It was a Clark Hater channel. Really? So wait. How is he like Da Pope? Because Da Pope is a Clark fan. I'm confused. All right, so I'm confused. Was someone saying he's a Clark hater and somebody saying he's a Clark fan? You guys got me confused. Did I read something wrong? So which is it, Clark hater or Clark lover? I'm wrong. All right. I've been wrong before. Who's saying? Okay, so what's this? Is this incorrect? It was a Clark hater channel. Bob Bible Boy was a moderator. I'm getting tired. I don't understand. Why is one person calling a hater when? All right. So woke black man I banned because too many people were saying he was annoying them, and I can't have like regulars being annoyed by one guy. That's why I banned him. He was funny at first, and then he got like obnoxious. You sound like Jordan Peterson. Is there a difference between my truth and the truth? My truth is the real truth. That's true. You got it, Joseph. The funniest take ever, where this there's this God, what channel was it? It was some guy had black magic, and he talked about how Caitlin Clark didn't have any real accomplishments, and should never got her shoe deal, basically endorsements, and basically said she only got it because she was white. So that led me to another channel that was just up in the right hand corner, when they suggest new videos, and I clicked on it, and I wish I could find their channel, but their channel is so small. You're blocked from commenting on mixed channel, but not banned. You can do that? Really? So these three guys were talking about Caitlin Clark, and the one guy said, and there's three black guys, and two of them are really fat, and the other one didn't look like he was fat. So one of the fat guys says, Caitlin Clark, this is beginning of the season of the WNBA season, said, Caitlin Clark is not a WNBA point guard. And the other guy says, yeah, I could see that the moment I watched her play. I said, and their point was she shoots a lot, so she should just be a shooting guard. And they had no concept or appreciation of her passing. So I made a comment to them and told them they were crazy. And I said, that's never been done in the history of basketball, turn into the greatest passer into a non-point guard. And you guys are crazy. You don't know anything about basketball. And the other guy goes, well, one guy played Division I basketball. I said, I don't care if I'm talking to Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and Magic Johnson. It's still wrong. That was the dumbest comment I ever heard. But I don't know. I thought it was funny when I was talking to him. The King Misfit. Where's that coming from? Yeah, I gotta find that channel. Mick is the weirdest creator out there. I have never seen a guy make a video from his car before that wasn't part of the plot of the video. What do you guys think of John the Liquidator? Thank you, Noah. Appreciate it. John the Liquidator basically lies in his thumbnails and his headings. Mick does too, but John Liquidator is even worse. And John Liquidator is like Ken. I don't want to say. Oh, I won't say Ken said what it was, but let's just say. Wait a minute. Thank you. I think he's even worse than Mick on the. Jordan and Bird like CC. I think CC is a combination of Jordan, Bird, and Magic. I don't want to sound like how they're describing Juju, but that's me. They should get penalized for clickbaiting, but they don't. They have tons of subscribers. Yep. John Liquidator does not have good grammar. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I would go to his channel because I thought I was getting like hot news off the press by Ken Clark, and it was like made up crap and lies and exaggerate. I stopped watching them. What about Rosalina? Her titles are clickbait. Magic, Larry, and Magic combined. Right, that's what I just said. I agree. Good point. She does. I can. She's got the Michael Jordan mentality, offensive competitiveness, and her offensive mind set in terms of wanting to score. She's got the full court passing of Magic Johnson, and some of a little bit of Larry Bird in her too. The clutch play and a little bit of some of the passes that she makes. Although Larry Bird had more touch than Caitlin has. She's probably more like Magic and Michael together than Larry, but I can see that. He's fit everywhere. Adrian Ross is more my speed. More my speed for what? For the Oh, okay. Yeah, Mick was doing. He just makes videos. He doesn't do any research for. Yeah, I don't know why people hold their mics. I have a mic. It's right here in a stand. It's pretty easy. It's just I don't understand why people hold their mic. It's very weird to me. Yeah, Mick was doing a video. There was a list of the top 10 college women's basketball players of the last decade. And when he talks like he knows, I don't know, everything about basketball, especially women's basketball and the history of the basketball, when he starts spewing out facts or saying things. And he was doing analysis of the top 10 players. And I would think the number one statistic you would know if you were going to analyze that list is who was player of the year in the last decade and who among the most famous people were player of the year in the last decade. And that was Asia Wilson, was the most famous person in the last decade who was player of the year. And he's evaluating the list of the best players. And he goes, did Asia Wilson win player of the year? I don't know if Asia Wilson won player. Let me look up Asia Wilson player of the year. He didn't know Asia Wilson was player of the year in college. I didn't understand how he could know that. And if he's going to do the list, he at least should have looked up who was the last player of the year of the last decade if he's going to give an opinion on it. That just makes sense to me. I would do a little research on it. So I found that bizarre. And why didn't he just edit it out? If he realized he didn't know something so basic, at least just edit it out. It's very easy to edit it out. He's not doing those live. So he doesn't even care how factually accurate he is or how he comes across with his opinions. I don't know. So I agree with this statement here. I'm responding to this statement by Boxing and Bulldogs. He'll do 4 videos on the same thing and just drag out a 2-minute thing into 30 minutes. Yeah, Larry had unbelievable touches on his passes. I will agree with that. He had those like little fast, quick touch passes for someone who was supposedly too slow. His touch passes were quick. Ben repeats himself too, though, sometimes, but he's good. He's a smart guy and he's funny. So I can't say. Come On Now podcast. He has good opinions too. W360, I can't watch her because she keeps doing this thing with her mouth like this all the time. And I can't watch her. It's just like, why is she doing that? That's not entertaining. It's annoying. That's just me. But that doesn't mean she's not good. I just can't watch her. She's just got to stop doing that if she wants me to watch. Maybe I'm the only one, but I just found it distracting and annoying. Yeah, Mick is 24/7 with the channel. I don't know how he does it. Fighters taught. Was he a fighter? Was Rudy? Is that his background? Rudy was a fighter. You know his background? So you like her faces. Yeah, I don't like her faces. They're distracting and annoying, but that's to each his own. It's just a question of style. Okay, Jolly, I'm agreeing with you. I don't know how strong my feeling is, but I think she should be the favorite. Whether she's a big favorite or not is another story. I think she's second in the most Vegas odds right now. Dave Rubin. Oh my God. No, I know some people don't. Bark Mark, what's up? You just get here? Where you been? We started at 6:00. It was supposed to end at 8, but we still have a lot of people on, so I continue to go. I'm gonna have to end at 9 though. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't think she's a trading tool. That's kind of silly. They just don't sign her. I think they're just trying. They're praying that they can trade Christy Wallace, but it's just that's what they're praying to do right now. That's my opinion. They're like begging people to take Christy Wallace, and they're just trying to see how much is worth giving away to get Christy Wallace. We'll give you Christy Wallace and a second-round pick for your third. That's what they want to do. It's a guaranteed contract. So that's what the people don't want to take it. I don't understand. Well, why did they sign the option on Christy Wallace? I can't get any information on that on the internet. Everyone's complaining that it's a guaranteed contract, but couldn't they have just not signed the option? Does anyone have an answer to that? She signs up 81,000 is not bad. That's what her new contract is for this year, is 81,000 according to what I looked up. I'd take 81,000 more. They have 32,000. That might be enough to almost sign 2 people now. 2 minimum, that's 66. They're going to need more than that, but that's 112. But it was a play. Yeah, I don't know. I've researched it online and I can't figure out it was a player option. So she signed it. So it was a player only option. I guess let me look that up. Is there player only options and then there's dual options? You've been watching and lurking. You saw Mike. I saw him score 63 points in a game and lose 2, but I didn't see it live. I watched the game twice since then, though. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not saying I'm 100% convinced of the last 2 moves that they made. I'm merely not. I don't think there's big a disaster as like Ben Daniels podcast and Chicks Dig Scar podcast say it is, or that other people on the internet are saying it is. That's all I'm saying. So I have concerns, but I have confidence in Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark. I think Stephanie White is a smart woman that knows who she can handle and can't handle, and that Caitlin Clark would have just said, no, that's not going to work. What are you, crazy? I don't need someone like that on my team. And they would have kept her off. Caitlin Clark probably saw the advantages of her defense and her depth, and they needed at center and said, okay. I think they run every player by Caitlin Clark. I saw that press conference. I did a video on that where she said, yeah, we were looking for this. Those are the type of players we wanted on our team. You can tell she's involved in all this. So if she thinks it's okay, I have to have mixed feelings about it and not think it's a disaster for sure. That's just my feeling. And, if it was the organization that was making these decisions was last year's organization, where I had no confidence in them, and Caitlin Clark had no say, then I would agree with you guys. This is a disaster. But I have to say they know more than I do about everything in terms of what's going on. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, she's very far left, it looks like. And she's not a Caitlin Clark fan, but I think she wants a championship, so she signed. Lynn Dunn, I think is it Lynn Dunn or Liz Dunn? Isn't it Liz Dunn? I keep getting that mixed up myself. I called her Lynn Dunn before in videos and had to edit that out. Pretty sure it's Liz Dunn. Or is it Lynn Dunn or Liz Dunn? I always get it mixed up. Is it Lynn Dunn? Okay. I always get it mixed up if it's Lynn Dunn or Liz Dunn. Is it Lynn? I can't ever remember. I do it and I go, Rob, did I say Liz or Lynn? And which one is it? And Rob can't remember either. And then I got to edit it out. She is a special assistant advisor or something like that. In other words, she's fired, but they didn't want to say it in public. She was fired. She's probably getting a salary and she probably does nothing. I don't know. I have just this mental block of whether her name is Lynn Dunn or Liz Dunn. At first, I thought it was Liz Dunn. I couldn't get it out of my head. Rob said Juju Watson the other day. I said, Rob, stop. You said Watson instead of Watkins. You got to do it over. He said, okay. So then today I'm talking about Juju and I say Juju Watson because I picked it up from Rob the other day. I had to edit it out. Anyways, see, unlike Mick, we actually edit some things out, make mistakes. He does a Lynn Dunn impersonation. Act does. All right. Remind me. I'll ask him. I don't need. I don't need my computer. I got you guys. All right. I just have a mental block with that. So must be I was mixing it up with something else. People keep talking about Paige, whether she's the number one pick or not. I don't know. Let's wait till the draft. She could go in a slump the rest of the year, or she could be super hot the rest of the year. So shouldn't we wait till like the season's over and then decide that? What did Robin say? Who's Robin and what did she say about the number one pick? Who's Robin? Robin who? Oh, Robin Lundberg? Okay. What did he say? He has reasonable takes. What did he say? If he's not clear, someone on the page, yeah. Well, I agree. There's two reasons for that. What he's saying is true. And also, what if she turns out to be this great player like she looked like she was going to be her freshman year and that she really blossomed away from Gino and you didn't pick her? You're going to look like your fans are going to be really upset at you for the next 12 years. So it's really dangerous not to pick her unless she gets injured again. Then, of course, I don't think it's dangerous not to pick her. I think it's really dangerous not to pick her, given that there's not another player in this draft that's super strong. So I would pick her, and I would hope that she gets over this injury bug and that she feels freedom away from Gino and the UConn system, and that she blossoms into a great WNBA player. Mick did a video on her calling her basically a role player, which when she's not assertive, she is, but I think she can be. I don't know. I saw her play her freshman year. She was impressive her freshman year. So, and she was impressive in the NCAA tournament last year. She kind of got on a roll last year. She was aggressive, assertive. She was on a roll scoring wise. And the injuries are further away from last year by almost a year, because it was like she went on a roll like in April or March last year, right? So this is 11 months later. So she should, if she could play like that, only a year removed from the ACL, that should not be an excuse anymore. Something else is going on mentally. So that's my feeling. I would pick her. I think it's real dangerous not to, unless she gets another injury between now and the draft, or she plays awful the rest of the year. That'd be a different story. So, yeah, CC turned her ankle in that one game in the World Cup. At some point, CC's going to get injured, but I'm impressed that she hasn't got injured yet. Hannah Daglo is not coming out in the draft. She's not eligible for the draft. That's a different story. Yeah, I don't think this is a deep draft. That's why when I think I mentioned this before last week, when we first found out about the trade and they lost their number one pick, I said, that's not good. This is going to be a deep draft. And I thought about the draft and I said, okay, wait a minute. This really isn't a deep draft. I mean, Mick thinks it's deep because he thinks all these European players are better than they are. And, but I don't think it's that deep a draft. It seems like an average draft to me at best. And there's a lot of good freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, which suggests to me that are some of the top players in the country, which suggests to me it's not a deep draft. So it really doesn't look that way. Last year's draft was clearly better than this year's draft, no matter what Gino thinks. So you won't know how good a draft it was till 10 years from now when you see how these players develop. Yeah, let's ask Gino. We'll get a good answer there. If there's 3 UConn players in the top 10, they'll say, this is the best draft of the century. You know why, it wasn't a good draft last year. There was no UConn players drafted in the top 7 or 8. Was it Leah Edwards was drafted 8th or 9th or something like that? All right, let me just see what she was drafted. She did good in the one-on-one contest. Oh, no, Leah Edwards went 6th. I thought she went right after Angel Reese. Okay. I'll stand corrected. Still, there was none in the top 5 from UConn, right? And she was the only player from UConn in the top 13. So that's why Gino said it wasn't a good draft. One player in the top 13 from UConn, and she was 6th. And it turns out, the Angel went after at 7, and she had a better year than Leah Edwards. Who's going to be better long term? That's another story. Leah Edwards looked good in the one-on-one contest, at least. So, when is the draft? April? Yeah, I can look that up for you. What's the date of the 2005 draft? $25. April 14th is the draft. So yeah. So anyway, all right, I'm gonna wind down here. This is I'm gonna end at 9:00 sharp. So get your 2 cents in. And then we'll see you next Monday. I'm working on doing a sports reporters type show. I'm trying to get some podcasters that want to do it. I think WNBA starts May 16th, but the Fever play May 17th is the first game. But I'd have to look that up. I know they're playing Chicago on Saturday, May 17th. All right. Training camp videos, you guys. Training videos. Yeah, they're interesting to see what they're working on. So you got an hour worth of bonus hour tonight. And if Rob will let me know if he's working next Monday. If he's not, he'll be here. They'll have a couple preseason games. Last year they had 2. You're welcome, Basil. And so we'll find out. And we'll find out what the if there's any more moves between now and then. Okay, that's a thumbs up for a bonus hour. Yeah, my voice is going. I gotta cut it off. I got things to do tomorrow too. So, anyways, hey, check out the new videos. I put out 4 videos today. We taped 2 yesterday and 2 today. I put out 4 videos, so check them out and give it thumbs up and make some comments, please. And go Fever. I'm picking them for the NBA title. So, who complains like Mick? Fever moves went bonkers. Oh, all right. You're welcome, Wanda Phillips. Yeah. But check out the videos. We need more views and more comments and more likes. And I don't know what we're gonna do. You guys have any ideas for videos? You can always email me or I read all the comments, so you could make a comment and let me know about ideas for videos if you have ideas. All right. See you later. What's up with the panel? I'm working on that. I'm trying to get commitments from other YouTubers. All right. It's hard getting a hold of them. None of them, they don't list their emails. I've made comments to them and tried to get a hold of them on their social media. I haven't had much luck. All right, but I'm working on it. All right, see you later. Go Fever.